It takes 1.61 seconds to eat one piece of food, except you eat kelp, a cake, or you're stuck in a block in version 1.8. Yes, you heard right. There's a glitch which lets you eat food 50% faster if you're stuck in a block. This ridiculous and seemingly useless glitch is just the tip of the iceberg. First, I'd like to answer the question which I get the most under videos like this. How in the world did I find this? Well, let's go back to the year 2023. I was experimenting with a new glitch I found which lets you buffer your fall damage when you are stuck in a fence gate or similar. I tried to find out what you can do in this weird falling state. I was able to use items and didn't notice anything strange until I ate a golden apple. I realized that was faster than usual. After I discovered this glitch, nothing really happened because eating food faster is cool but not really useful for anything because you have to be stuck in a block and can't overlap it with anything else. Months went by and I still had no idea how this glitch really worked. Until Contranaut discovered that this glitch can be used to skip some parts of the portal animation. Instead of taking 4 seconds to enter the nether, it only took roughly 2.5 seconds, which is a pretty big time save for some speedruns. But most of my viewers play in a casual survival world, or at least that's what I think. So luckily, you will benefit the most from this glitch. Why? Do you remember, for example, the overpowered XP farm from a mango which produces more XP than one player can pick up? The farm had to implement a way how to get rid of the XP orbs because there were too many. Now with this new glitch we can actually use this farm with full efficiency. With bottles of enchanting I tested how quickly the player can pick up XP. Normally it takes roughly 43 seconds to get to level 30. And in case you use this glitch, it only takes 34 seconds. That's a decrease of 22%, which is pretty insane considering that you spend hours on gathering XP in your survival world. The second most frequently question is, how does it work? Well, in case you don't really care about the mechanics behind this glitch, you can skip this chapter. Okay, at this point it gets complicated very quickly, but I will try my very best to explain it. So first of all, you have to know the game consists of two different instances of the version. There's a server side and the client side, and they work hand in hand to make sure everything works perfectly. This has the advantage that when the world takes a while to load, you can still walk around normally without a frozen game how it used to be in super old versions. Those two instances of the game always have to make sure they are synchronized. They do this by sending so-called packages, which contain information about certain things like the player standing in the nether portal. The game also has a hidden timer which is used to frequently send packages to one and another. The shortest interval of this timer is a 1/20th of a second, which is called a tick. Every tick the client will send the server a player package. When the server receives that package, it will run the entity tick function. This function will increment pretty much all timers and cause actions which do something with the player. This includes many kinds of cooldowns or how long an item has been used or how long the player stood inside a nether portal. In theory, this works perfectly. However, the server also has a mechanism where if it sees that in the previous tick the player was not inside a block, but in the current tick they are, the server will send another package instead. This package is used to forcibly correct the player's position. When the client receives that package, it accepts the server's judgment, then replies with another package for the entity tick function. So the result is that the server receives 2 player packages in just one tick, which causes the entity tick function to run twice. In other words, it speeds up certain player interactions. I often talked about that you have to be stuck in a block, but what does it even mean exactly? So first of all, you have to be slightly inside a block's hitbox, but not more than 0.0625 blocks, or just 1/16th of a block, which is equivalent to 1 pixel. In case you want to use this glitch for a mob farm, you can use a simple fence gate, but in this case, you have to press a key on your keyboard the entire time. Alternatively, you can use water to push the player into a trapdoor which closes automatically. In case you can't use water, you still need a different form of automated pushing. So I decided to use gravity for this purpose, and therefore I had to find a way to align the player down to the pixel in Y direction, which is much harder to do than in X or Z direction. But then I realized I could just search for block combinations instead, which have a height difference of just 1 pixel. I found out that you can use a trapdoor next to 2 layers of snow or a block of equivalent height. This can be used in pretty much all mob farms in 1.8, and I really hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new.